And welcome to the channel where we talk about only good comics. I'm Brant, and this is Friday First. This is the series where we talk about brand new #1 issues, new story arcs, new character debuts, and the like. This is for books that are coming out on February 6th and 7th. So, 7th being Wednesday. I always have to say the 6th because of DC books, but the 7th, we'll go with that. We'll go with the Wednesday, which is traditionally New Comic Book Day. So, yeah, before I get into the books this week, though, I wanted to pose another question. To all of you out there, and that is, would you like to hear me talk about the previous week's books after I've read them? So, like on this episode, I would be like talking about, oh, these are the books that I liked from the ones that I talked about last week in last week's video because they came out. That would be a bit of a challenge for me because I don't read my books right away like a lot of people do. I tend to spread them out, but I can try. So if that's something that you're interested in, and I'll give you just like a little tease of that. From last week's books, the books that I talked about on this show, the only ones I've read so far are Dead X-Men #1, um, Moon Man #1, and I read part of probably about a third of Power Rangers Unlimited, the Morphin Master. So I can kind of speak to those a little bit. Um, Dead X-Men, I gave it a rating of potential, and I think it was okay. It was a decent read. I wasn't mad. I bought it or anything like that. I wasn't in love with it, so I still think it has some potential just because of the cast of characters involved in it. I thought they were interesting enough, and as far as X-Men books go right now, it was a decent read. So I'll put that out there. Moon Man, I thought it was okay. I don't think it's for me. I gave it a rating of promisingly good last time, and yeah, it was just decent for me. It was okay. I don't know that I'll continue with it. The art style for me was a little bit of a disconnect. It was um, very, I don't even know the word to use for it. I kind of want to say painterly. It was very static images, though. There wasn't a whole lot of movement in it for me, and the kind of story they were telling, I felt like it needed a little bit more movement, a little bit more excitement. I thought the dialogue between the astronaut and his family member, I don't know if that was his brother or what it was, but I thought their interaction was really good, but that took up a large chunk of the issue, and we got very little of the backstory and very little of him leaping into action. So it was a lot of just those two reconnecting and talking about things in this issue, which again was a little bit of a disconnect for me. So that's where that one stood with me. And then so far, what I've read of Power Rangers Unlimited, the Morphin Masters, has been really good. Um, but I haven't read a whole lot of it yet, so I can't really speak on the whole issue as of yet. I said that it was going to be positively good. What I've read so far, not quite there, but I really am enjoying it, and I think I'm gonna love it by the end of it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, I'll just really quickly recap if my thoughts after the fact on the issue match the ratings that I gave them. So if that's something that you'd like to see me do more of on this show, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. So, but with that, let's get into this week's books, and we're going to kick off with the honorable mentions. First honorable mention this week is DC's How to Lose a Guy Gardner in 10 Days. #1, very clever title. Love the title. I will say I'm not getting this book, but I did want to mention it because I thought it was funny and cute. It is a $9.99 price tag. It's one of those 80-page giants anthology stories, but it's Valentine's Day. It's all about romance, and it's Guy Gardner, cute cover, some known characters. You got Fire and Ice and Power Girl and so forth on there. So and we're exploring. It's their take on rom-coms of the 90s and 2000s, 27 Dresses, all that stuff, with Guy Gardner in the spotlight there. So I thought it was a really cute title. I wanted to point it out for all of you that like the Valentines like to pick up these special books and these 80-page giants and stuff like that. So that's your first honorable mention. The next honorable mention is also a Valentine's book, by the way. This one, your last honorable mention for the week, is a very Valiantines special. No, that's not a misspelling. That is Valiant Valentine's special, and I'm giving this one an honorable mention because Faith is featured in one of the stories in here. Faith and Archer, and their young love on the rock story. I'm a big fan of Faith. I will caution you, this is a $12.99 book for 56 pages of content, or 50 pages of content. It has a Dr. Mirage story, Bloodshot, and Ninjak as well. There's no cover image here, but I did find a pre-release image, so I'll share that real quick. So this is the pre-release image showing all the characters involved in it. You can see Dr. Mirage there, and Bloodshot and his family, Ninjak down there, and Faith and Archer in the bottom. And I also found a preview on their Facebook. So I'll share this real quick. There's the cover page or credits page or whatever. Well, I guess that's technically the credits page, but there's some of the art. It's from the Dr. Mirage story. And so that's it. That's really all there is. So if that interests you at all, if you're a fan of Valiant and you like those characters and don't mind a $13 price tag, go check this one out. I don't know that I would get this except for Faith. I love Faith. I wish I could just get a Faith story, though, instead of paying $13 for all the rest. But picks this week: Wolverine Madripoor Nights #1. This is another one of those throwback nostalgia books. If you happen to catch our latest episode of Comic Book Weekly, we kind of talked about this as a sidetrack about leaning into this nostalgia and why they do it, and the audience they're trying to reach and all that stuff. So it was a good discussion, good little side discussion. If you want to check that out, I'll try to remember to leave a link either in the description or up here somewhere. But anyway, this is written by Chris Claremont, who's revisiting the days of Uncanny X-Men 268. So back in the day when him and Jim Lee were doing X-Men and all that stuff. So this is Wolverine, Captain America, and Black Widow in Madripoor, hunting down a weapon that's resurfaced and all this stuff. So if you've been a fan of the nostalgic books, if you're happy to see Chris Claremont back writing that era of Wolverine, check this one out. I think this one is potentially good, so that's the rating I'm going to give it. But you never know with these nostalgic series. Sometimes I try them out and I'm like, I just, I don't remember what was going on in that era, or it just wasn't for me or whatever. And some of them are really good. So you just never know with these series what you're going to get. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this one. Will I try it? Most likely. Next up, we have Red Hood, The Hill #0. This is kind of the primer. It introduces how Jason Todd became familiar and got introduced to this new neighborhood that he's going to be residing in the full series coming soon. This for me, and this happens during the Joker War, so it's a little bit of a flashback leading up to the current series. Like I said, it's about to come out, but this for me is the book that's going to determine whether I get that series, right? So I think in that regard, it's important if you're like on the fence, if you don't know if you're going to like this, if you want to see where, how he ends up in the Hill, this is one to check out. The creative team for this is Sean Martinbrow and Tony Atkins, and Stefano Gaudiano on inks. So I don't know. We'll see. It's got potential. It's Red Hood. Red Hood stories again are hit and miss. So I don't know if I'm gonna like this one or not, and that's why I want to pick this one up. So that's Red Hood, The Hill. That's a little bit of a tongue twister, huh? Red Hood, The Hill #0. Check it out. Now we're getting into the good stuff for me. This is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers: The Return #1. And speaking of Power Rangers, we talked about Power Rangers a little bit earlier in the show, but this is an alternate universe where they've finally defeated Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed. Now Jason the Red Ranger has gone rogue, gone solo, and he's gone missing, so they have to go find him. The cool thing about this is co-written by Amy Jo Johnson, who played the Pink Power Ranger in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers television show, the American version. So that's really cool, and I'm really curious to see the take on Power Rangers in her viewpoint. So that's going to be neat to watch unfold. And I know Mike Spider-Slayer is even trying this, and he doesn't read Power Rangers, so that's really cool. I'm giving this one a promisingly good. I have high hopes for this one, but I'm trying to meet my expectations. So there it is. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, The Return, #1. I'm excited about this one, though. Let me know in the comments below if you are too. Then we have a book that a lot of people have been talking about, Ultimate Black Panther, #1. Supposedly this is selling out everywhere at the retailer level. So if you haven't pre-ordered this or you haven't reserved a copy in your pool or whatever, or I don't know. I'm sure there will be shops that have this, but a lot of the talk that I've seen been going around, I should say, is that these are hard to find and are already popping up in places. So with elevated prices and the like. So we'll see. But this is the Ultimate Universe, the new Ultimate Universe, and their version of Black Panther. Who it's you got Khonshu, who's Moon Knight's god, and Ra, the sun god, and everything are involved in this as well. Brian Hill is writing this, so I don't know. Stefano Caselli on art here, so it has a lot of hype behind this book. The Ultimate Universe, obviously, getting off to a strong start with Spider-Man, so we're going to see where this goes. I'm giving this one a promisingly good. I think it's going to be good, but I again, you never know until you try something. But this one, there's a lot of hype around it, and the Ultimate Universe so far has caught my attention, and I've liked what I've read so far. So we'll see what happens with this one, and if I can find a copy, if you can find a copy, if we can all find a copy and read this book and enjoy it. I'm really curious about this one, though. So promisingly good for Ultimate Black Panther #1. And the final book of the week is my most anticipated of these #1 issues. Is Thundercats, #1 from Dynamite Entertainment, written by Declan Shalvey with art by Drew Moss. Fantastic creative team on this book. A new era of Thundercats. I've never been a huge Thundercats fan. I never watched the cartoon, believe it or not. I watched everything else. He-Man, Transformers, Mask, you name it. I watched it except for Thundercats. I just could never get into it for whatever reason. And I keep trying Thundercats over and over again. So I'm not the hugest Thundercats fan, but this book in particular has me really excited and really intrigued. I don't know if I'm going to like it or not, so I have to stay with promisingly good. But this creative team and, again, the hype behind this book has me excited about it. We're going to see if the hype is true, because it says, I don't know. It's just there's been a lot of hype behind it. So Dynamite is doing some interesting things with these old properties, though. Some of them have been strong, some of them not as strong as I would have liked. So who knows? But Thundercats, I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm going to try it, and I hope that my expectations, that are here, skyrockets up to here once I read it, and it's like, oh, I really love this book. That's what I want from this book. That's what I'm hoping, that this makes me a Thundercats fan, like Ryan Parrott and the rest of the creators at Boom made me a Power Rangers fan when I never was before, really. So I'm hoping that this book does that for me. That's my hope for this, but I'm trying to just kind of go into it, with a little bit of caution, so I'm not, blowing it up and, getting let down by it. So hopefully when I come back next week and report, about Thundercats, it's not like, yeah, and it's more like, all right, you got to check this book out. So I don't know what that was. All right, that's a weird excitement. I'd never do that. I would never ever say, oh, I love this book. That's not me. I don't know why I did that. Oh shoot, I don't know what's going on, but that's it. Thundercats issue number 1. Promisingly good. And with that, that's going to wrap up this shorter edition of Friday First. Not a whole lot of new number 1 books, or at least not a whole lot that I am excited about or going to check out. But let me know if there was something I missed that you're excited about that's coming out, a brand new number 1 or brand new story arc or whatever, in the comments below. And let me know what you're thinking of the series so far. I keep talking about this. I'm going to keep talking about this. I'm just weighing options on changes and all that stuff. This is 18 weeks into this show so far. Let me know what you're thinking about the show. What you like, what you don't like, what you like to see change, what you like to see different, or if you just don't care and you just enjoy watching me talk about comics. That's cool too. But yeah, let me know what you think of the books that I mentioned in this episode. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help. And if you want to see more content from this channel, consider hitting that subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss any of the content going up on this channel. Of course, you can follow me across social media at Only Good Comics and type in onlygoodcomics.com to bring you right back here to this YouTube channel where we talk about only good comics. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take care and keep reading those comics.